welcome to my general crafting channel. My name is Tanis. I am a crafter based in the south of the UK, quite near the south coast. I'm the owner of the Etsy shop Gym Poodle, and I chiefly make these 1940s style hairnets called snoods. More about those later, but not very much. I'm just going to whiz through some colours that I've made this last few weeks. So nice to see you again. I thought I was going to be really quick this week because in my head I felt like I hadn't done very much, but then I realised I've got about 10 million whips, so we'll crack on with it. And if I bore myself with the whips, then we'll just skip some. But I finished my black socks that I was making for, I don't know if I showed them to you before. Yeah, I've spoken to him about it before. Anyway, my sister's neighbour is a really lovely chap who's 98, and he's a full-time carer for his wife with dementia, and he mentioned to my sister, that he really loves handmade socks, so she asked me if I'd make some for him. So I finished the black pair I was making for him, and I'm on to the navy pair now. I'll pop a picture up of the black ones because I've already sent them off to him and he loves them. He has been a bit unwell, so there was a bit of delay in me sending them and him being able to have them, really. But yeah, so far so good. I'm on to the navy ones, and I've got a whole lot more. If you watch the last one, I showed you the dingy rainbow of the older gentleman. But I'm really enjoying making them. It's really nice, I think, to make things for people sometimes, and there's no real deadline on it. I mean, he's not expecting me to make any for him. He wasn't expecting the black ones. He's certainly not expecting any more pairs, but I'm just gonna work on them a little bit every day and send them to him as and when they're done. Sorry, you might want to get a drink if this is going to be a long one. Right then, so I think I told you before, I've just seen my neighbours coming home out the window, so they're going to see me talking to, no, they're not going to look in the window, are they? Don't be silly. Anyway, I was talking to you last time about doing that workshop with Hobbycraft online that was really good. It's actually really good, and I've been checking the website to see if there's anything else I can do coming up, but there's not really been anything that's really taken my fancy, and a lot of it is scheduled for quite far in distance, in time wise, obviously, because the distance I have to travel to do them is my spare room, which is really not that far at all. But do you remember I was saying I was doing those wired words where you use like a Knitting Nancy doll? I mean, I've got one of those like little prim crank things for 4-ply, but use a Knitting Nancy doll, you make a big tube, and then you stick wire up it, and then you bend it around to the shape of a template of a word that you've printed out. So I did smile. These were pre-prepared words they gave us. I'm super happy with that. I think it's really lovely. And we also, the mister went to see his mum the other week, and she's asked him to go up in the loft and get some things down, and he found up there this strange looking thing. Now, anyone who's younger than me might not get this, but this odd looking thing with a sort of pineapple-y shape at the end is a cassette holder. It's a cassette rack for when we used to listen to music on cassette, which is now kind of, we don't really know what to do with it, other than it makes a very handy holder for my little smile knitted word, and it sits up in the corner over there, and I'm super happy with it. I mean, the mister really likes it being on that thing as well, so temporarily that is where it's going to live. I could stick it on the wall. You could put, like, you know, little Velcro dots or something on the back of it. So yeah, for the meantime, it's quite happy where it is. I'm really happy with it. I'm definitely going to make some more. The Knitting Nancy doll that you got with the kit was quite rough inside, so that's why I haven't made any more, because the mister gave me some sandpaper to sand it inside, and it was too fine, and it just wasn't, you know, it wasn't doing enough of a job. So I got really fed up with it. So then he ended up taking it off me when he had some time. He works shift, so he's not always around to do it. And he smoothed it all out inside for me, and it's really good. There's one little catchy bit in there still, but I might stick some wood wax up there and see if that maybe helps. But yeah, massively happy with that. Now, as you'll know, if you've been here before, I like making vintage knits as well as modern things. So I do have a few vintage whips or vintage makes to show you this time. So if you're not into that, apologies, but if you are, I've got a bit of a crop. Now, if you've ever been to my shop, you will be familiar with Wiggy, my wig stand, who models snoods for me. Sorry, this is my hat. I'll just fling it over there. Oh, I didn't mean to fling it quite like that. So I might take Wiggy off her wig. I might take her wig off, because I don't know if it shows brilliantly well. This is a pattern called the Sophisticate hat. And it's the one where I was saying last time. It's in the shape at the back of, you tuck your hair under it, which is why I'm fiddling about a bit. You tuck your hair under it, and it's quite a close fitting hat, and it's got you sew down tucks on the top and at the back, and it looks a bit like, I don't know what I called them last week, but you know those palmier bakery things. It's like a little pastry cum biscuity thing. They do make them on Bake Off quite regularly, so you probably, or if you've ever been in a shop, hey, you've probably seen them. But you know the things, they look like they're sort of heart shaped, and they're delicious, but very, very messy to eat. Right then, I think this is a 50s pattern. Vintage patterns don't often have a year on. I mean, knitting patterns generally don't have a year on, do they? Because it stops you from buying it. If you think it's, you know, once you've spotted that the pattern is several years old. Do you see? Oh, nice. A little bit lady parts. We won't put on that. Yeah, I love that. It's such a nice shape. And I think my gauge is a bit bigger than on the pattern, although it measured fine, but on the pattern it looks super close fitting to her head. And I shared a picture of it on Facebook, vintage, it's called Vintage Knits in the Modern World, and loads of people liked it, and even some people said that mine looks better than the picture in the pattern, which wasn't true, but it was really sweet of them to say that. So yeah, I'm really happy with that, and I've immediately cast on another one. My next finished object, I'm going to quickly whiz through. I have made, I mean, I'm always making black snoods, like the one I've got on. See, I've got two that need to go up in my little shop storage thing. Shop stock storage. You wouldn't say that after too many gin and tonics. This is a pink cotton one that I'm working on at the moment. That's going to be a medium, so if your hair is about sort of this length, it's like, if your hair is like from the tops of your, pretty much touching the tops of your shoulders, that kind of length. This is a mint green one I'm doing. Oh, super pretty. I can't remember what size that's going to be. At this stage, that could be anything. And that's it for snoodage. Oh, I only want to show you, look, see how pretty that is. I really wanted to make one of these for me, and that's how much yarn I've got left, which is nowhere near enough. I'm so annoyed with myself because I do that all the time. I'll make a snood in a really lovely colourway, and then it'll be quite popular, and people will buy them all, and I'll have forgotten to make one for me, or I've left enough yarn to make one for me, and then someone pops up and says, oh, I love that, could you just, do you have enough to make me one? And I always go, yeah, of course, and then I don't have it. So yeah, I only have got the really basic colours, and everyone else has the cool colours. Now, also, if you're a vintage girl, you know how you can wear your hair in with a headscarf? You get like a triangle headscarf like this. Actually, this is on Wiggy. And you fold it in half. This is going to be a really crap, very quick headscarf demo. Hang on, which way around am I? So you put the long bit around the back of your head, and you pull it up. I always give it a quick little half tie. You pick the other point up, that bit goes over your head. You do a quick little tie like that. And there you have your, I've done it so badly, you've got a very quick and easy vintage look. And you can tuck the ends in to make it look more like a turban or whatever you want, really. But these scarves, headscarves, they have to be quite a big one for it to be comfortable to do, because there's nothing where it just comes off the back of your head if it's too small. But they're increasingly hard to find because the vintage clothing traders and dealers snap them all up. You will see them on things like Vinted and stuff now, but the days of going into a charity shop and just happening on a whole bunch of them seem to be over. Now, I can do that. I could probably do that in my sleep. I know I did it really messily then, but they can be a bit of a faff, especially if you've got the sort of hair that doesn't behave. I've got real bounce out hair, I've got really fine hair, and there's that annoying thing with the thinner your hair is, the more hair grips you need to hold anything on, and it drives me crackers. So it often doesn't hold the style very well. So I tend to always wear headscarves or snoods if I'm, you know, dressed in a more vintagey way. I don't always wear vintage style clothes. So because I find them a bit on the difficult side sometimes, I mean, they are and they're not. Anyway, I'm waffling. I've made a pre-tied one. Now you can buy turbans from anyone, any of the vintage, I mean, well, not anyone, from loads of vintage sellers, which are stretchy and they're fantastic. And you put them on and they hug your head and they sit, you know, they usually have quite a fancy knot on the top. But I fancied making a pre-tied headscarf, which is more difficult than you would think. I have made so many prototypes of this. I'm still not 100% on it, but I'm getting it. I think I'm pretty much there. And here she is. I think that's a bit of a triumph, you know. I mean, I've got a snood on, so I'm not sure. Like, you don't have to do anything much. You would just pin your hair back to the back of your head. And then, I don't think I can get this on. Oh, no, I can't get this on over my snood. So instead of having to, like, fold a headscarf, and some of those headscarves are slippery. That's a really polyester one. But if you get, like, a silk one or a more satiny weave one, they do slide off your head. But this one that I've made, when you undo it, it's still in the shape of a headscarf. These bits don't really tighten it up at all. I mean, a little bit. But they're there just really for decoration. And you can wear it with, I like it, you know, with the ties showing like that. You've got the back of your head covered, it's cotton, and you can wear it like you know, so you can fancy up these ends to make it look more sort of bowish, or you can turn it inside out. I'm just going to squish it under for you to see. Turn it around or tuck them in and you get more of a turban style. I'm so happy with it. And it's reversible. So this one, I've used the same fabric inside and out. So it's, you know, it's reversible, the same colour. But I'm going to make more of them where I'll use 2 complementary colours. I probably won't do so many. Well, I might do, yeah, I will do contrasting colours as well, but you will see when you tie it, you'll see the other colour. You can't help that unless you, I mean, even if you tack it under, because of the knot part, unless you're super careful with that. But yeah, these are not in my Etsy shop yet, but it's going to be very soon, very soon, probably this weekend. And they don't take me too long to make. I've pressed this one badly, so this one's going to be repressed because I've not lined up my edges very well. I just was in a rush when I was doing it to get it done. But I'm going to start making those really soon because I can't, a woman cannot live by snooze alone. Much as I've tried to. Now my one other thing to show you that I finished, which I'm also super happy about. Let's get Wiggy back. Let's put a wig back on. Give her a little brush. Sorry, Wiggy. Oh dear. I know. She feels like she's lost her dignity when I take her wig off, really, in an unceremonious way like that. That's it. Now, this is not going to be about the wig. Do you see I dropped Wiggy and now she's got a cute little snub nose. Have you heard of the Miss Marple scarf? Now the Miss Marple scarf, there's a free pattern on Ravelry for it, but there are also vintage makers who make them and sell them. And it's a keyhole scarf, so you put it around your neck. Why am I using Wiggy when I've got a neck? Hold on. Nothing wrong with my neck. And I've used this lovely, if I say so myself, old shale stitch pattern. And see this little bit? I'm sure I've shown this before. That's divided. Look, there's a hole. So when you wear it, I appreciate it's too light and I'm roasting, but you know, you pop one end through the other. Oh, lovely. And then it just snags up to your neck in a lovely way. I've made mine quite wide so you can have it right up around your ears if you want. Comes up quite high around your neck, my one. I have seen them where it's very narrow around there, but I like it to be filled up. And then these bits, do you see, you can just have them just filling up that little cold bit of your coat. You know, if you're wearing a coat that's got a V opening, it just fills that bit up. Or you can wear it over and you've just got this nice little sort of boob length scarf, little scarflet that does the job of keeping your neck warm, but you're not covered in bulk. You've not got a great long scarf flapping around getting caught in tube doors. Oh, I love it. This is also not in my Etsy shop yet, but it will be. Coming to an Etsy shop near you soon. I can't tell you how happy I am with this. The yarn came from the knitting group I go to. I bought some of this yarn, but I'd only bought one ball of it randomly, not for this. And then I started making this and realised I didn't have enough. And then just out of the blue, one week at my knitting group, a woman came and had like 3 balls of it that she didn't want. So what we do with stuff like that is we sort of just put it in the middle and then people just help themselves to it. Like, there's no charge or anything. I mean, you can, we meet in a church hall and the woman that arranges it, I think she pays for the hire of the hall out of her own pocket. So if I take something, I tend to put some money in the pot, because there's no fee for going or anything, but they do tea and coffee at 3 with a biscuit, and it's like 50p. And that's the contribution to help pay for the hall. But there are like 20 odd of us that go every week, so you know, it's at least she gets like a tenner towards it. But if I take, and then most people do, if they take something, they'll throw some extra money in the pot to make up for it. So a little sippy sip. I don't know if I've shown you this before. This is a gorgeous bowl that I bought from Lilliput White when she quite often exhibits at Unravel in Farnham. And I love this. It's got its driftwood handle, and this is one of my favourite colours. I love this sort of mustardy yellow. Well, you can see my curtains, and if you could only see cushions, they're all that kind of colour too. But that's super useful. It just sits on the side over there like an ornament. And so I tend to pop things in there small things that need to go upstairs and go into my shop stock. Right then, let's go whip-a-rama. I do have a lot of whips. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. So this is my sock book. Look at my sock book to find out what I was going to tell you about. Right. Some of these things I'm going to whip through really quickly. Whip through the whips. This is a pair of socks for the mister that I have made very little progress on. So barely worth showing you that. And they're a 2x1 rib. And I'm making those from Rico Designs Super Bar Melange Jacquard. In this quite ages ago, he asked me to make him some brown socks, and I couldn't bear it, so I've bought socks that do sort of stripy things with brown and grey. Yarn, did I say I bought socks? I haven't bought socks. So yeah, I'm doing I'm trying to get through some sock whips because it's the summer sock camp from Crazy Sock Lady, so I'm trying to participate in that and using it to motivate myself to actually get some sock projects done. So one of them is I like helical scrappy socks. I've made a bit of a mess of the cuff of this. The cuff looks a bit wibbly wobbly, and I don't think it massively goes. I think I used the wrong colour really for the heel and cuff, but you know, we'll live. That's the first one. It's got sparkly Gideon green toe. That's a West Yorkshire Spinners. I think it was called Silent Night. It's one of the Christmas colours. This was that called Vintage Tinsel? That's another West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas yarn. It looks really dark there, doesn't it? And I've got, this is Milk by West Yorkshire Spinners as well, just one of their signature solids. But yeah, when you stripe it with a cream, it really lifts it up, makes it really bright. Oh god, the sun's gone in, so it's gonna look all dark. There you go. Doesn't that look lovely and bright and cheery? I love those. I love those. So yeah, I've done the toe. I'm just about to do the heel, the foot. I've done the toe. Obviously, I've done the toe. The toe's done. Foot's done. I think I've just about finished my gusset increases because I'm doing them toe up. DPN holder by Joe Piccolilli. So I get all my DPN holders from, and they're the best. They're really, well, yeah, I have tried other people's, but she has the best patterns and the design. I really love the design, and she's a really nice woman as well. So, you know, all the ducks in a row and all that. What have I got in here? Oh, another pair of scrappy socks. Another pair of helical scrappy socks. These are like super shorties. That's a bit of navy blue yarn left over from a different pair of socks, and I'm striping that with, this is a travel knitter yarn that it was a shawl I made that I frogged. I've made socks with this before, and when I've used this for the toe or the heel, it's not up to it. So I don't think it's I don't think it maybe it hasn't got any nylon content in. So I'm going to do some other colour for the toes. And the navy was literally a scrap, so that's how much I've got left of the navy for that sock. I've got an equal ball for the other foot, see, and then I've got all these other little bits and bobs, some rainbow yarn, some blues, a bit more of that, yeah. So that's just another little pair of scrappy shorty socks, because I realised, I don't know if I said this to you before, I don't have enough shorty socks for the summer really. It's quite annoying. Oh, this I probably have shown you years ago. This is, what is this called? It's a Jenny flower tee. And this, I think, has probably been on my needles for several years. I'm not sure it's really me, but I'm carrying on with it because I don't know. See, because I really love the colours, but I'm not sure it's really my style. And I'm going to make it longer than the pattern, because everything, I hate that everything is so cropped, because I'm quite busty. It doesn't really work on my frame for me. It makes me too blocky, like everything's too rectangular, solid looking. So I prefer something that's more hip length. It just sort of balances me out more. Let me see if there's a picture of this to show you on here. Oh, gosh. That's the state of this pattern. There you go. It's from Judy Knits in Paris, and you see it's short sleeved and it's sort of the right kind of length. You just choose in the pattern what length you're going to make, and there's plenty of yarn for it. I'm probably going to make the sleeves longer as well, because that is not an attractive cut off point for me, so I'll do at least bracelet length sleeves on mine. But it's one of those ones, I think it's because it's knitting around, it's just a lot. It's a lot of striping in garter, and each round seems to take quite a long time, and I think I just get bored with it. So it's going to take me years to finish it. I don't know how I'm going to kick myself up the bum to get the motivation to really carry on with it. I need some sort of challenge. Oh, I could use the Everyday Knitter. Louise Tilbrook's got a knit along going, hasn't she? I don't know if it started. It's like a kind of something old, something new. But there's nothing new about that. It hits all the old. So that doesn't really work, does it? Oh, this isn't barely worth showing you. This is also something that's been on my needles since Kingdom Come. That I loved at the time, because Jude from Stranded Dye Works made tons of the Hohi Locatelli Boxy. Made loads of them. And I decided I really wanted one. So I bought some of Jude's yarn. This is called Deep Feelings, which mine turned out to have some very light, you can't really see, there's some bits that are almost undyed, that have not taken up dye very well at all, which I wasn't massively happy about. So I frogged this at least once, and I messed it up because I was annoyed with it. I messed it up. So, and I left it for ages and ages, and then I just thought the other day, I'm going to just start working on it again and see how I get on. So, but that's the V-neck version. I don't remember Jude doing the V-neck one. I think Jude always did the basic one. And also, I'm not 100% convinced I've bought enough yarn to finish it. So mine might end up having some stripes at the bottom. It might have different colour sleeves. I don't know. If I do different colour sleeves, I'll probably do them like really bright pink. Or mustard. So, that's all of that bit. This is, oh, I've got a disaster. I have got a disaster. Now, I've shown you this lots of times, and I've always had misgivings about it. It's a beautiful vintage pattern, the drop stitch jumper. You may remember I made the drop stitch scarf before. It's too catchy. It's so easy to catch these drop stitches and pull the scarf that it's not that enjoyable to make. I've made, I think when they've taken this picture as well, I think they've bulldog clipped that at the back. They've done something to pull that in, because I've knit 2 gauge and this is what one piece of mine looks like. She's really wide. So that's where I am with the first piece, which is marvellous. That's all done. Done, diddly, undone, done. But here I am with the second piece. So I've done all of this drop stitch bit. This all grows. Once you start dropping stitches, this all just suddenly becomes much longer. It's the weirdest thing. So I am up to here with mine. And so that will all grow enormously when you drop the stitches. If only I was ever going to get to the bit where I drop the stitches, because do you remember when I said before I should have really weighed the yarn properly and measured it out before I started knitting? And so because I had weighed the yarn and worked it out according to the pattern, and then I should have weighed it again after I'd knit the first piece, and I didn't. And this is how much I've got left. So that's got to be frogged, and I don't think I can bear to knit it again. So I'm going to frog the whole thing and use the yarn for something else. And the pattern is going to end up going in my Etsy shop. And good luck to you. May you have more luck with it than I did, because I just don't think it suited my knitting style in the end. And also, I'm not brilliant with clothes that you have to be really super careful with. I am someone who often catches my clothes on door handles. Bedposts are not my friend. Oh my god, the amount of times I'm caught around a bedpost. Oh look, here's a pair of straight needles. Why do modern knitters hate straight needles? I don't get it. I mean, I like them. This is what I learnt to knit on as a child, and I find them really comforting. Look, here's more of that yarn from the knitting group. So I've got quite a bit of that left. I've got 2 and a bit balls of that. So I can make at least another one of those keyhole scarves in that colour. So that's good. So that's not really a whip to show you, is it? I'm quite miffed about that drop stitch jumper, because it wasn't the most enjoyable thing to make. And to have made so much of it and then have to frog it, which I know is I know it's my fault. That doesn't stop it being annoying. This this is a vintage hat I'm making. I bought the pattern because I really wanted to make that one, which is gorgeous, but you have to put an Alice band, a plastic Alice band in it to make it work, and I'm just not in the mood for it. I would like to make it, but I'm not for it right now. So I'm making one of these, and on the back, look Look how the top is. You sort of gather it up, but it's sort of folded in, so you don't see like raw edges inside. Oh, it's so lovely. I loved that. So yeah, that's a Patons and Baldwin pattern. Again, I'm guessing from hair and makeup, that's late 40s, early 50s. I'm saying probably more early 50s for that one. Again, doesn't tell you the age, but I'm using this yarn, which is really pretty. Look, it's got all slubby and it's a recycled yarn. I don't know if it's 100% recycled. It's called Recreate by Stylecraft. £4.50 for 100 grams. Oh, it's 40% wool from recycled garments, 30% acrylic also from garments that have been recycled, and 30% polyester that comes from plastic bottles. That's amazing. Oh, I thought it was just like partly recycled types. Oh, that's really good. I bought this from Seeded in Southsea, which is not my nearest local yarn shop, but it is my favourite. The owner, Alexis, is lovely, and so is Jem, who works in there, and well, they're all lovely. They're all really lovely. So yeah, I've pretty much cast it on and done 2 rows. So yeah, on a Thursday, I kind of schedule my days for what I'm going to work on. On Thursdays, I do vintage knits, so that's going to take the place, I think, of the old drop stitch jumper. Oh, I've not put my pattern back in my thing. I have to keep the pattern in the bag with the thing, otherwise I don't know where I am. More so than usual. Oh, I really love that though, and I've got that in another colour, and that's a yarn. It doesn't come in that sort of ball. I was making a shawl, and I wasn't keen on the way it was coming out, and I like knitting shawls, but I don't really wear them, so I've kind of gone off making them a bit. So I have that yarn in this colour too. This one you can't really see on screen so much, the slubs in it, but it's just got these like tiny little flecks, speckles of other colours in it, like yellow and red and like really bright blue. So this is another vintage hat I'm making. So I'm making another one of those Sophisticate hats, the burgundy one I showed you before. That's one of those there. And this one I think is another quite basic looking hat. Okay, so the Sophisticate is that one, and am I making that one? I was going to make this one, but it was giving me too much baby bonnet vibes, so I'm making this little bobble hat instead, with not very modern fag, smoking a fag. So yeah, they're my current vintage knits. I don't have like a whole vintage garment to make at the moment, so I might try and find if I can find something that's got stripes or something, so I can use that pink yarn up, because I don't really know what else I'm going to use that for now. What's in here? Oh yeah, these are gym socks. This is for my sister's neighbour. Just another pair. If you probably can't see that brilliantly well. It's a 3x1 rib, so you get that kind of inside. So mine's a broken rib, so it's a 3x1 rib on the cuff, and then just going to the rest of it is obviously plain on the bottom of the foot. I've done a heel flap and gusset. They fit in really well, the black ones apparently. So yeah, so he's getting, so you do 1 row, knit 2, purl 1, and then the next row is just knit. So it's quite an easy thing to make. And to be honest, there are a few times when I've done 2 rows where I've done the rib, and it's not really, you don't really notice it, mainly because it's dark wool. But I think even if it wasn't, I don't think it would be a disaster. It's good TV knitting, put it that way. You don't have to worry about it too much. Oh, that's me thing for me knitting Nancy. If you don't know what knitting Nancy is, where is she? Where are you, Nance? There she is. Yeah, so I've started making another one now that her innards are smooth. But I haven't done very much of it. Right. These are a pair of socks I've not done anything on for ages. These are the Samphire socks. This is another pair that, do you see, it's such a pretty pattern. And the yarn is by Gerard of I Knit London. So you'll never get that now, which is a shame because it's really lovely. And I wish wherever Gerard was, I think he's moved back to Liverpool. I wish he would start dyeing yarn again because he was the best yarn dyer in the known world. So yeah, that's the Samphire socks, which was part of the Secret Sock Club by Helen Stewart one year, and I never ever keep up with anything, so I didn't. But you do have to concentrate on making these, and I don't always have the time to concentrate on things. I'm quite often just grabbing a bit of time to do personal stuff here and there. And I haven't even printed out the picture on the front, have I? Have I? No. Oh, I can't even show you what they look like when they're finished. Like, there's a tiny little picture there that shows you a little bit. But yeah, I'm using the summer sock camp as my motivation to hopefully do a bit more on those. Likewise, these ones. This is Dragon Hill Studios sparkly sock yarn with, oh, I can't remember who that is. That might be, oh, she's lovely. Who is she? Fruitful Fusion. I think that might be one of hers. Don't remember though. But it's got that kind of depth of colour in the, see, look. All the warmth. She always has warmth in her colours, I find. So yeah, I've started the second one. And if I could just pull my finger out and get on with it. This is a project that I took to my knitting group with me this week and got quite a few stripes done. So maybe that'll be the motivator to keep that going. Whoops, I've dropped them. And I'm doing them on 9-inch circulars, which are not my favourite thing. And I find with it, sometimes I pick it up and I've got the knack of doing it. And I can just, away I go. And then other times I pick them up and I feel like the honey monster trying to wrangle these tiny little things, and I can't get on with it at all. But this week at my knitting group, my knitting natter group, I've coped. So I don't know. Anyway, the colourway, this is Dragon Hill Studios Sherborne Sparkle Sock. It's a 75 merino, 20% nylon and 5% stellina. And the colourway is Regal. And every time I get this yarn or these socks out in front of anyone, they swoon. Because I would say Gerard would be my favourite ever variegated yarn dyer. And Dragon Hill Studios is my favourite ever striping, self-striping sock dyer. You are never disappointed. Right, last knitted thing. This is the Firecracker jumper for the Mister. I've made good progress with the second piece. Look at that. I'm trying to do at least 2 rows on that a day. And when I say I'm trying to, I'm not always succeeding. But I've taken a leaf out the book of Kay from Crazy Sock Lady, who does that, I think, with like, with some of the things she's making, like a blanket, and I think she's making a garment for someone where she just, I think she's making something for a man as well, and she just does a certain amount on it a day. Like she'll do like say 30 minutes on it a day, and then it's done, and you can see you're making progress then, because otherwise it becomes like a big monster in the corner of your room that you never get anywhere with, which is where I was with that really. But yeah, I'm not committing to do anything massive with it. Oh my goodness, my throat's so dry. I don't speak. I work from home. I'm employed and self-employed. So I work from home and I don't actually speak to anyone very often. So when I speak to you, you're the only people I've spoken to apart from my knitting natter group, generally. A week, and the mister and the cat. This is not a sad thing for me. This is a happy thing. I like it a lot. But it does make my voice a bit croaky from underuse. Well then, so just like got a couple of things to show you for personal life now. I have been doing, I always do this. This is my sales map, my colouring sales map. That's all the counties that I've sold things to this year so far. So every time I sell something with a different postcode, I colour that in. But look, I'm halfway through America. I'm over halfway through America. I'm so pleased with myself. And I've also got, I have some things in here that are like embroidery designs and stuff. This is my colouring book tracker. Isn't that great? So this year I'm doing it this is the first year I've done it. I'm just doing it like as I complete a book, I'm colouring one in, and then that's the time range it took me to read those 20 books. So there's 20 books per shelf all the way down, so this is a 100 book one. But next year I've written on it so that I remember to do it. I'm going to do it by genre. So I'm going to have classics, cosy fiction, thrillers and crime, modern fiction. And I'll colour in books on each shelf by genre as I finish them. And I've got more than one. Obviously it's a print, it's a printable that I bought from Etsy. So obviously I can print as many of them as I like. So I generally read about 40 books a year, and that one, 50, sorry, I usually read about 50 books a year, and that's only got I think 40 or no, something like that. Well, whatever it is, I know there won't be enough spaces on there for the books that I read, so it doesn't matter if I go on to a second sheet. So that's that for that little thing. The other weekend, it wasn't last weekend, weekend before last, we went to, there's nothing personal on here, is there? And that'll cover that little QR code up, even though I don't think it will do anything. The Goodwood Festival of Speed. Golly, that's a tiring day. We really enjoyed it. There's a lot. I think you need more. We both said afterwards, I think you need more than a day. There was lots of people from where Andy works that had gone over the weekend as well. And everyone who went for one day said you definitely need to do 2 days. I don't know if I'd be up for doing 2 days. It's tiring. There's a lot of walking around. And the mister, we have very different attitudes to looking around things like this. He just wants to march, walk past everything quite quickly. Don't really stop, but just walk past everything. No pausing, keep going. I think that's miserable. I can't bear it. And it was hot and I was tired and I just wanted to sit down for a minute. And then he'd be like, well, what we'll do is we'll find somewhere that'll be like, and it'll be like way over the other side. I don't know if you've ever been to Goodwood, it's massive. We'll find somewhere where you can sit down, like over sort of by the tree somewhere. It's like, can we not just sit down on these benches right here? Oh, there's too many people. It's like, you're at the Festival of Speed. There's going to be people falling out your backside everywhere you look. And it wasn't so busy that you couldn't sit down. There always were. There loads of sort of picnic seating and just sitting everywhere where you could just sit and have a rest. And all the seating was within walking distance of the last set of seating you'd seen. So I had to have a bit of a moment with him to say that that was actually miserable. And then it calmed down a bit and we could stop and look at things. But yeah, we're going to have that conversation again when the revival comes, because we're going to revival in September, and that is 100% for me. So it's my rules, my rules for that day. And if that means I leave you at the gate and we meet back up again at home, so be it. I want to, because last year we went and we didn't see some of the things that I wanted to see, and I was a bit kind of like, because there's so much there and it's all so brilliant. It's so brilliantly well. This year at the Festival of Speed they had this massive Red Bull moment. They had all the F1 cars going back years and all the drivers there, and I can't tell you, there's so much going on that I can't even really tell you about it. We took our own picnic because we found the food from the stands before quite expensive for what it was, although that was at the revival, and at Festival of Speed it seemed to be less expensive, the food, and better. So I don't know what to do now for revival. I think I probably will take my own food though, because I'm vegetarian and it's always a little bit hit and miss. I don't want to just be given the choice of bloody halloumi. So yeah, it was really good though. Definitely. I mean, the Mister's more of the motorsports person than me. I love members meeting, which is all motorsports, but it's the old stuff. It's all the old stuff, and I love that. And revival, the motorsport at revival as well is also that old stuff. I think it's between 38 and 68, something like that. But at revival, everyone dresses to a period theme, which is just amazing. So many at the Festival of Speed. You have not seen so much McLaren kit in your life in one place. I mean, even when you watch Formula One, you won't see as much McLaren kit as you would see at the Festival of Speed. It was unbelievable. Everyone was orange. It was really good, because obviously I love McLaren, but yeah, it was really noticeable. I don't know if maybe that's, that's the joy of having a really brightly coloured kit, is that it makes you super visible. But there's so many. It made me laugh a bit because for the Red Bull moment, they call it a moment, but it's like a massive thing. There was a sea of people in front of the house to watch it, like so many people, and there's massive screens up here, so you don't need to miss anything. But if you don't fancy being the scrum bit, it wasn't a scrum, where there loads of people were, you can go off to the sides and, further around the circuit, up the hill and stuff, and see from other bits, and there's grandstands all over the place. But there are loads of people in front of the house, and about 75% of them were wearing McLaren kit, which really tickled me that there were so many McLaren people watching the Red Bull. I just felt like the Red Bull people must have been like, all right, thanks. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I tell you what, I'm still reading Vanity Fair, really enjoying that. I read on audiobook, I read The Lost Dressmaker of Paris by Suzanne Fortin, and I can't say I'd really recommend that. Obviously I would recommend Vanity Fair by W.M. Thackeray, classic. A lot of language that's not appropriate for the modern day in there. I'll just give you a warning on that. Quite a lot of racist language in there. So it's a very old book. It's very old attitudes, but it's still a really good story. But I do wish that they would publish really sometimes. Like you could have a choice of buying a version where the racist stuff had been taken out. It'd been rewritten. Is that like too sensitive of me? Is that silly? Because I appreciate as well, you need to know that was how things were, to know not to do it now. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's a difficult subject, isn't it? But it is a really good book. The Lost Dressmaker of Paris is not a good book. It's really stupid. And it has lots of things that are really, like, it's like the author did absolutely, it's basically about a woman who's a dressmaker. It's dual time zones, modern and World War II. The Parisian dressmaker bizarrely gets herself, she ends up working as a chambermaid in the hotel where Coco Chanel shacked up with her Nazi boyfriend all through the war. And this dressmaker ends up making a dress for Chanel, but they had done obviously no research whatsoever into dressmaking techniques or just what would happen. And the modern day person has found this dress and sketchbook in a lost luggage auction, and takes it to Chanel to have it authenticated. But it's all just so badly done. Like, she just randomly bumps into this guy in the street who's a photographer, but he's not really a fashion photographer. He just happens to be, like, he's just been given this job to photograph the Chanel Haute Couture show. I think it's a spring summer one as well. Anyway, she's over there with him and he just gives her a ticket. I mean, beggars belief. Anyway, if you don't mind books where that have had no research done whatsoever, it might be for you. But at my book group, very few of us liked it. So, my last little bits of news, I've got two great things. One is I won £30 on the lottery. Is that what you get now for three numbers? Three numbers and the bonus ball maybe? Anyway, I won £30. So I bought a copy of the new Zandra Rhodes book, Iconic. And I've managed to get a signed edition, so I'm super happy about that. And I had £10 in hand from Waterstones anyway, from their reward system, so I actually got it for £15, so I'm super happy about that. It's being delivered tomorrow, so it hasn't made the cut for today. I'm so happy with that. I really wanted it anyway, and I don't know why I've been putting off getting it. I just had, and I think the fates wanted me to have it now. And then, if that wasn't enough, you know when you see these like competitions on Instagram and Facebook and what have you, where it just says fill in this online form, you know, like this post, follow our page, yada yada, we'll put you in the draw. And I always think, yeah, whatever, but I do them. I do them for things that I want, and I've only blooming won one. I won Petersfield, a town not too far from here. They've got a branch of Waterstones, and I won their Summer Reads Facebook page competition, which is why it's worth sticking with Facebook, even though everyone under 30 has left it, because you now have a much more chance of winning the competitions because there's nobody there. So yeah, I have to go to the security office at the shopping area where it is to pick up my prize. But I've won 3 books, 3 summer themed books, and I've won a £50 Waterstones voucher. I'm so happy. Not like I don't have enough books. I mean, I have a lot of books here that I haven't read yet, but I can always make room for some more. I'm so happy. I mean, there literally isn't room for any more. I'm absolutely delighted with that. I couldn't believe it. I had to look at it and check it and recheck it, make sure it wasn't a scam, make sure no one had put up like a fake fan page or what have you. But yep, I've definitely won it. So I'm going to go and pick it up. I've got to go and pick it up in person from the security office. And because it was run by like the marketing team for the little shopping precinct bit there. So yeah, absolutely delighted with that. And so if anyone's got any recommendations of what I should spend that £50 on, I do have a wish list on the Waterstones app already, but I'm more than happy to have more books added to that. Oh, we're just hitting an hour. I'm gonna go. Thank you very much for sticking around with me. I know it's been very vintage knits heavy and very whip heavy this time, but I only record when I finish things, and this time I just happened to manage to finish several things in all close to each other. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Please like, subscribe, all that gubbins, and I will see you back here again in 3-4 weeks maybe. Take care, see you soon, bye bye.